Hereford, X-Terminator.
Watch for the pneumatic lift at the front of the ramming spike. The aluminium sheets, 25mm thick. 2 hatchback car starter motors provide the power for speeds up to 20 miles an hour, the quickest in the field.
My name is Marlon, this is Paul, and Simon can't be here today as well. This is our robot, X-Terminator. Our main weapon is the spike, which we're going to try and impale as many people as possible on. We've got a lifting mechanism to try and stop people driving off, and a self-righting mechanism if we get flipped over.
From West Yorkshire, Hefty.
Oh no, Philip has caused hefty problems at home by letting Stuart Reynolds' wife know the cost of the 2 electric motors, the ram, the black composite shell. Karen, it was money well spent. Or was it?
My name's Stuart, I'm the team captain. This is Bernard and Darren.
This is Hefty, our tank, with 150 pounds of pure stabbing power.
And this is our flower power shell, which is fabulous.
Roboteers, stand by.
You wouldn't believe it, but Exterminator's the lighter robot here, with Marlon Pritchard, a part-time DJ, and Paul Lewis, who wants to be a pro golfer, and there's Hefty, with Stuart Reynolds and Bernard Mosley, Darren Brown.
Activate.
Hefty, all flower power, peace and love, apart from that front spike. And look there, also the deadly pneumatic spike on the top of Exterminator. The front scoop as well looks solidly designed and dangerous, but how manoeuvrable. Can get up to 20 miles an hour, Exterminator. The spike impaled on the top of Hefty and strong enough to lift Hefty almost up on its side and against the arena wall. Now there, it rolls Hefty up and over. Have they got any sort of Stream X self-righting mechanism? I don't think so. Killalot in the background comes in for the kill. And now, can the Hefty boys get their robot up and running? I don't think so. Towards the pit, all that paintwork. Sir Killalot has his own fan club. And Hefty has its own grave and is about to be dumped therein. That's the end of Hefty. Exterminator through him very quickly.
Cease.
This was the moment that was key. Down came the spike. Hefty was impaled, couldn't get away, lifted and tossed. And of course, that's the cue for Killalot to enter. Revving up to come in for the kill. And that was the coup de grace. This, though, is Judge Shred with Alan and Paul Blakeman. Tense, nervy, Exterminator. Paul Lewis, Marlon Pritchard. There's Marlon with the beard.
3, 2, 1. Activate.
And it's Exterminator whizzing across the arena floor at up to 20 miles an hour. And don't forget, it has that great pickaxe on the front as well, causing the damage in the previous battle against Hefty, you'll remember. Judge Shred looking to get those pincers in action with the great PSI value powered by CO2, but it's Exterminate, Exterminate! Judge Shred pushed towards the pit! Judge Shred, PSI, CO2, KO, TTFN, ta-ta for now! Judge Shred, over and out! Right on the edge of the pit, hanging on in there, but surely it's goodbye for now. Yes, I think so. Matilda and Killalot. Oh, listen to the circular saw. That is just like going to the dentist and having the old drill in your mouth. Oh, that sent shivers down my spine.
Roboteers, stand by.
To take on the reigning champions, Exterminator. There are the controls, Marlon Pritchard and Paul Lewis. And there are the kings. Panic Attack, Kim Davis at the controls, and young Michael.
Activate.
Kim loves his photography. Well, he wants a snap of himself on the victor's rostrum again, but it's Exterminator with the pickaxe. Spike coming down on the attack of Panic Attack early on. Spinning Kim Davis. Just to baffle Exterminator, prepare to be terminated, says the slogan on the back. Tall Exterminator, 94.5 centimeters in height. Panic Attack, certainly more maneuverable, but by far actually the slower of the two robots in a race, and now being Pushed across the arena floor by X-Terminator. Slightly the lighter of the two, X-Terminator. About a kilo lighter, no more than that. But the stronger, it would seem, slamming Panic Attack on the arena wall. And it's X-Terminator's spike, which has been a key feature of this heat. Right from the very start, the first battle against Hefty. And what can Panic Attack do here now? Needs to catch X-Terminator out, attack side on, but lost an opportunity there. X-Terminator again, crashes the spike down, bashes Panic Attack against the arena wall and towards Sergeant Bash, and the champions are in trouble here now. Sergeant Bash has them gripped, Panic Attack turning away. X-Terminator comes in and slams Bash. That's a risky maneuver. And all this time, Panic Attack can't get those front spikes into action. There we can see the front camera again on shunt. That's a better move by Panic Attack. Now can they turn X-Terminator up and over? This could be crucial. A crucial moment. X-Terminator rolling. Goodness me, very, very lucky. Went piggyback up and over and came down right side up. Now it's Panic Attack on the aggressive. In comes Killalot. What a heat final this is. Panic. You might be in a couple of moments, champs, because Killalot has you gripped. But meanwhile, X-Terminator is up on its side. Have they been immobilized here? Kim Davis looks grim. But I think X-Terminator has been immobilized. Well, you can still see the tracks are spinning underneath, but they are very worried. The lights are on, but there's no one at home, boys. In comes Panic Attack again, X-Terminator. They're trying to get righted once again. Well, Panic Attack, this is a performance of champions. X-Terminator now being pursued, harangued and harassed by the horrible house robots. Off goes the chain, and that is the end now for X-Terminator. Started so strongly in this heat final. Oh dear, they know it. They know they've done magnificently to get this far, but it's all over for them. Chained to the house robots, shunt slams, Killalot pulls, taunts, teases, torments, tortures. Terminated, yes, you have been. And Panic Attack,
Cease.
I thought had been beaten, but it's Panic Attack who go through to the series semi-finals. What went wrong with X-Terminator? Well, that's key. Look at the CO2 gas escaping. And that was the end of their their self-running mechanism. And that's why Panic Attack have won it. Exterminator, when flicked up and over on its side, without the Shremek powered by the CO2 canister, which must have been punctured, they lacked the ability to right themselves. And that's when the house robots killed off their dreams. Exterminated.
From Norwich, Millennium Bug.
A walking robot, therefore allowed to be twice as heavy as the rest. A 2,000 RPM rotating disc was inspired by the success of Hypnodisc in the last wars. Will this be a bugbear for the rest?
My name is Rory Williams. I'm the team captain and designer of the Millennium Bug. Our team members are my son Thomas and Andrew Walker. Now, we're a walking robot, and that means we can be twice as heavy as the other robots. So we think we've got an excellent chance, and we're hoping to do very well. And we've been practicing our Millennium Bug special celebration, just like the footballers do. So chaps, if you join with me, this is the celebration.
From Hereford and seeded number 22, X-Terminator.
Will they exterminate with the axe and scoop bucket? Two 750-watt, 24-volt industrial motors give the power. The shell is aluminium, and it's very, very quick. Takes a special robot to push Panic Attack all the way, and that's what happened in Series 3 in their heat final. But then they blew their gas canister and couldn't self-right, and it was the end. But Exterminator are back.
I'm Simon, this is Paul. We have another team member, Marlon. This is our robot Exterminator. Our main weapon is our axe here, which we use to impale as many opponents as possible. Should
we fail to use the axe, we may use the self-right mechanism to flip our robots over. As a defense mechanism, we have the bucket on the front, and should we get flipped, we have a self-right mechanism on the side.
From Colville in Leicestershire, Judge Shred 2.
Back to pass judgment again with a short, sharp shock treatment from the pneumatic axe. It has a wedge to flip and a streamek to self-right. The shell's polycarbonate and alloy. In Series 3, they gave Mr. Punch the old left-right combination, but then they were defeated by X-Terminator, so our judges bear grudges.
Hi, we're Team Judge Shred. This is our robot, Judge Shred 2. These are my colleagues, David and Paul.
My job is to look after the drivetrain, the electronics in here.
I'm responsible for the weapons, axe, flipper, both powered by CO2.
Roboteers, stand by.
Here they are then, Judge Shred 2. At the controls there in the middle, Alan Blakeman, a school technician. Millennium Bug with young Thomas, praying that Dad doesn't do that. Celebration Dance and X-Terminator, Marlon Pritchard at the controls at the right.
3, 2, 1. Activate.
Interesting to see how the Walker gets on here, Millennium Bug. Actually quicker than the Walkers in the last series. Developments have been made. Very interesting. They're up to 4 miles an hour. I know, it's not startling. There you go. X-Terminator slamming into Judge Shred 2 and forcing it against the arena wall. Look at the judges from behind. And the wibble-wobble of Millennium Bug. Those leg scaffolding pipes. As X-Terminator rolls away into safety. And Judge Shred 2 comes in on the attack and flicks away at the protective metal. I wonder if that's decorative only. For Millennium Bug, look at the great bludgeoning rotating disc at the back, 2,000 RPM, and that will cause problems. Do not get too tight to that. Another piece of metal comes flying off, and all of a sudden the thighs on those legs are being exposed. Hack to hack, X-Terminator, and Judge Shred 2, X-Terminator through the flames. And to take on Judge Shred 2, well, the axe of X-Terminator making no impression whatsoever there on the shell of Judge Shred 2. The shell polycarbonate and alloy, and at the moment, in this particular battle, I'd say Judge Shred 2 is the most impressive, but X-Terminator means business now again on Millennium Bug. The arena is absolutely littered now with shards of metal from the Bug. And again, it's Judge Shred 2 to come in. No, he leaves X-Terminator to do more damage. Poor old Bug out there, left alone. And it will not be going to the ugly Bug ball tonight. Poor old Millennium. X-Terminator 2. And now Judge Shred 2. They came in with a pincer movement to roll Millennium Bug over. And I can't think there's any way back now for the Millennium Bug. That's like the Beetle when turned topsy-turvy. Oh, someone go in and write it. I don't think any controls in the world can rescue Millennium Bug. Now, at least we won't see Rory Williams and Andrew Walker and the celebration wiggle of the fingers. Let your fingers do the walking, let your robots do the talking, and it's silence from them. X-Terminator with the axe. There are the Judge Shred 2 boys. And Millennium Bug onto the arena floor flipper! Oh, they didn't even bounce right way up. Dead Metal comes in to cut off the scaffolding poles. Millennium Bug no more. Flipped and a bit of a flop.
Roboteers, stand by.
So to our second heat semi-final with X-Terminator. Marlon Pritchard, Paul Lewis and Simon Baldwin. Up against Arnold Terminator with Ian Inglis, son William and daughter Holly. The Loudwater Combined School in High Wycombe.
2, 1.
Young William and Holly, the tactical experts. William, he says, playing also a vital part for this team. He says he makes it look good. Arnold Terminator on the defensive against X-Terminator, our number 22 seeds. By far the bigger of the two robots, by far the heavier of the two robots, and very quick X-Terminator, 25 miles an hour. If you're looking for a dark horse for this series of Robot Wars, well, maybe X-Terminator. Who knows, though? This will be a major surprise and shock if Arnold Terminator can pull off a victory here. Dead Metal comes out with the claws and the pincers. Arnold gets away. Exterminator on the attack with the great axe. You can use an interchangeable flipper as well there. Don't forget it has the scoop bucket too. And all the aggression early on from Exterminator against Ian, a project manager by trade. Loves his DIY. It took him 7 years to build a wall at home, by the way. Arnold Terminator has flipped Exterminator! Will this be the surprise? No! Those side spike 3-net mechanisms came out. A change this year for Exterminator. That's why they could survive and come back to attack. Arnold once again. Exterminator driving away. That is not good technique. Exterminator team. Marlon Pritchard at the controls, but they come back on the attack again on Arnold. The axe to me doesn't look greatly powerful. Maybe the scoop weapon is more effective to flip at the front. You just saw it lifting up there. More of a scoop wedge than a bucket. Coming back on the attack though, Arnold Terminator. Really showing a very good plucky display here. Arnold. The axe comes down rather flimsily. There's almost like a yapping jaw on the front of Terminator. But now you can see the flashing eyes of Killot. Terminator getting away. It has a lifter, it has a self-righter, the chassis, don't forget, from a cold water storage tank. Also parts from a boat in there in Arnold. Well, they've come to grips with each other. I think Exterminator is in control of this little dance. Seems to be pushing Arnold around. Again, the axe comes down. Controls being used to, I think, steer away from trouble and take this to the judges. It will go to a judge's decision to see who beats Behemoth in the heat final. For me, it's Exterminator. We'll have to see some action again, though. Well, Marlon Pritchard and the Exterminator team, look at that, thinks it's close. Ian English waits to see the decision. Exterminator first to attack, using the axe. Back came Arnold Terminator with the flip. So Exterminator had the self-right. Then look at this drive into the CPZ. This could be the decisive moment.
The judge's decision is through, based on style, control, damage and aggression. And they've gone for Exterminator!
Roboteers, stand by. From Hereford and seeded number 22, X-Terminator.
Marlon Pritchard, Paul Lewis, Simon Baldwin, the Exterminator team.
From Hemel Hempstead and number 6 seed, Behemoth.
Kane Aston, Anthony Pritchard and his brother Michael there on the right, the Behemoth team.
3, 2, 1, activate.
Both these machines reaching a heat final for the second series running. Let's see if the Exterminator flipper is working. Behemoth immediately turns him up and over. Well, it is working, the flipper, because it's acted almost as a streamer. With, of course, the help from the side spikes as well, but the initial plunge and attack was taken by Behemoth with a pneumatic scoop. Behemoth is the bigger of the two robots, slightly the heavier and certainly the more aggressive. And I think Anthony and Michael showed great control at really steering Behemoth around the arena floor. Exterminator rocks and rolls. Marlon Pritchard at the controls, now on the attack. The Behemoth, sturdy, heavy, too strong. They try and flick Behemoth up and over, getting in there on the side of the scoop, pushing it into the CPZ. Shunt can come out on the attack, using its own scoop. Behemoth, head-to-head there with Exterminator. Slam and bam, 160 kilos met there in the two robots, with a frontal attack. There they try and use that little flicker to push Behemoth up and over, trying to tag it there. On the side spike of Behemoth, Exterminator. Behemoth started the strongest. Exterminator has come back very well, and I would guess is now on top in this heat final. Trying to use the side spikes to add an extra flick to Behemoth. Riding the attack of Exterminator, now gets away. Will have to dodge the arena floor flipper. Dangerously near that flipper there, Behemoth. They size each other up. Back away. Exterminator nudging forward towards Behemoth. Out comes Dead Metal trying to grasp Behemoth. Very much now Exterminator on top and on the attack. Trying to get in underneath Behemoth again. A ground clearance of 25 millimeters on Behemoth. Only 15mm on X-Terminator. That's the X-Terminator team. Can Behemoth come back in? I think at the moment they're struggling, the number 6 seeds. For me, it's X-Terminator on top, seeded 22. Will the Behemoth boys suffer disappointment in another heat final? The arena floor spiked them last time around. Behemoth again, looking as if they're in trouble here. X-Terminator trying to flip them over one last time. It'll go to the judges. But I think X-Terminator, Marlon, Paul and Simon have it. And the Pritchard boys and Kane Aston will be disappointed, but it's up to those judges, of course. Judging on style, control, damage and aggression. The early aggression from Behemoth, certainly. And again there, so points tallying up for Behemoth. Good style by X-Terminator to self-right, and then in the closing stages, they really were aggressive. Not a great deal of damage caused. Very even heat final.
The judges have made their decision. Remember, lads, it's based on style, control, damage and aggression. Behemoth, the 6 seeds are out. It's X-Terminator! Come on!
Roboteers, stand by.
This is Wild Thing then, with Nick Adams, who owns a remote control model shop, daughter Isabel, son Jake, an X-Terminator from Hereford, Marlon Pritchard, Paul Lewis and Simon Baldwin.
3, 2, 1.
Wild Thing played Hoopla with X-Terminator. You can see the extra hoop on top, and there's the flipper trying to get in underneath Wild Thing, but at the moment, X-Terminator using his power instead. And look at that, very little traction on the wheels of Wild Thing, and that was sheer brute power from X-Terminator, pushing Wild Thing into the CPZ immediately. And I think that was the breastplate, it was, and Kilolot's come off there in the CPZ as Wild Thing just squeezed away. It caught Kilolot's breastplate and pulled it off. So now we see a nude Kilolot, which is certainly new for Robot Wars. Don't get too excited. X-Terminator locked onto the arena sidewall, needs to get out from there, does so, slowly, surely. Wild Thing turns lurid red, flames painted on its body shell there. Well, it left itself a wee bit vulnerable on the attack to X-Terminator's flipper. This is a very even contest, as we thought it might be. X-Terminator starting the strong with that hugely powerful push. Can get up to 25 miles an hour, X-Terminator too. Wild Thing now, though, you see, back on the attack, and X-Terminator's in the CPZ, and Wild Thing spins and gets it away. Seem to have more manoeuvrability across the arena floor, and worrying times here for X-Terminator too. They need to get up and away. The flipper's still working, the light's still blinking. Wild Thing's eyes are flashing. They come in again for another broadside attack, this time trying to nudge X-Terminator into a further CPZ. For me, if this one goes to the judges, Wild Thing are just getting on top now. Clever driving as well by Nick Adams, using the broadside approach onto X-Terminator into the CPZ, and now dead metal, look at that! Oh dear! Hot knife through butter! Slicing through Exterminator 2's aluminium shell very, very easily. Exterminator getting it away, but Wild Thing once more on a drive, this time using the wedge check to get in underneath. Exterminator got a ground clearance of 15mm. Exterminator, that was too vulnerable coming into a semi-final, and they're toppled. And that's it, I would imagine, now for Exterminator. They can self-right because of the flipper, but I don't think they're going to. They also have self-righting arms on either side, and I think you'll see the arms are bent. You can see the arms are bent there. Also, the hoop they added for self-righting ease has not worked. It's all over for Exterminator, I'm afraid. The arms are bent and buckled. Oh, in comes Dead Metal with a real slam. Look, they're trying to get the flipper just to nudge Dead Metal away. It's not going to work, though. And we hope perhaps that Exterminator can live to fight another day. They were knocked out in Series 3 by Panic Attack in the heat final. This time they've made the semi-final, but no more for Exterminator. The Herefordshire boys are on their way out. Marlon Paul and Simon Baldwin, and it's the Adams family who will march on. There go, Exterminator, out of the semi-final.
6. From Hereford and seeded number 22, X-Terminator.
Three-man team, Marlon Pritchard, Paul Lewis and Simon Baldwin. X-Terminator, 80.1 kilos, an aluminium shell. Now if we'll see the axe weapon. The scoop bucket at the front, though.
Roboteers, stand by.
Could be advantageous here.
3,
to get in underneath Shunt when Shunt comes forward.
1. Activate.
Slamming against Shunt, immediately on the attack. You can see there the little scoop right underneath Shunt, pushing it back and wedging itself down on Shunt. This is a great tactic. This is a fine run here by X-Terminator, and they used the weapon on the front, that little scoop to get in underneath Shunt. Shunt can gain no momentum. Look at the wheel spinning. This is a brilliant run. This is the best we've had so far. Terrific stuff. The sumo basho belongs to X-Terminator from Hereford so far. Shunt cannot manoeuvre. Shunt cannot come forward. Look at this. Up around half a minute already. This is fantastic stuff. Sumo basho X-Terminator. X-rated stuff for the house robot. It can't do anything. They pin Shunt down. It can't do anything. Look at this. This is what we've waited for. And I've got heave-ho, get Shunt out of that basho arena. Push and shove. Heave-ho, get Shunt back. Go on, push and push and push. Tremendous stuff. They're going to last in there. They're going to outlast the house robot. Brilliant stuff from the boys from Hereford. X-Terminator. That's the best so far. What a performance that was. Straight on the attack. Great tactics. The full minute survived. The only way X-Terminator can now be beaten is if one of the 6 remaining contestants push Shunt out of the arena within the minute. And there's some good robots to come there. Razor amongst them, Pussycat too.
From Surrey, Invertebrat. From Hartford, X-Terminator 2.
What weaponry power on this team. A rotating bludgeoner, a pneumatic flipper, a lot of parts from scrapyards, wheelchair motors at top speed of 10 miles an hour. It's the heavier and quicker team, an axe or flipper weapon and a scoop bucket here, an aluminium shell, and frightening top speeds, 25 miles an hour.
We're the X-Terminator team from Hereford.
And this is Invertebrat. I once went to Hereford, which is why we decided to team up for tag.
To the bait, we're bringing our weight, our speed, and our axe.
And Invertebrat's bringing its bludgeoner weapon and excellent agility, which makes it really good for tag. We hope.
From Hornchurch, King B3. From North Hampshire, 101.
Saws and spikes for this team. A petrol-powered 9-inch circular blade here with lifting, flipping spikes. It cost £4,000 to make. This cost £1 and a penny, hence 101. Tracks from a milk washing machine. Will Invertebrat get at them? Watch out for the 101 Spike Red team. It's frightening.
Hi, we're the King Buxton team. Back again with King B3. Very fast, very sharp, pretty lethal. We're going to be in a tag team here and we're going to show them who's boss, I'm telling you.
This is Robot 101. Fast, manoeuvrable, runs either way up. Got Amy and Bunny to help us. We're the better side, we'll help them out. I'm sure we'll get them out of a lot of trouble.
No, I don't think so, actually. I think we've got the faster robot here. I think you'll find that we'll be running all over you.
Yeah, but I think this is a bit more manoeuvrable than yours. We won a lot more battles, and we're better drivers.
We don't need a fluffy bunny on our side.
Roboteers, stand by.
Invertebrat on the left, X-Terminator on the right. That's the X-Terminator team actually on the left there. And Invertebrat with Les Wall at the controls. King B3 on the left, 101 on the right-hand side. The King B3 team controlled by Simon Harrison there on the left and Mike Franklin at the controls of 101. Amy Franklin, though, his 9-year-old daughter, and the mascot, the Fluffy Bunny. It's Invertebrat out of the red corner, King B3 out of the blue corner. Oh, something flew off there! And I wonder what it was. As Invertebrat comes in again with a crunching challenge on King B3, and sparks certainly flying, but I think it's the circular saw of King B3 and Simon Harrison at the controls, causing all the problems here. It's a 9-inch circular saw, it's petrol-powered. They've tagged, out comes 101. Oh, so has the red team. This is X-Terminator with the pickaxe on the top of 101. Down it comes, trying to get perhaps in underneath the milk washing machine tracks. Well, they're abiding by the rules. Remarkably. Pensive look in the control booth. This is King B3 back in the action again on X-Terminator. And X-Terminator, the Hereford team, seems to be the more aggressive impressive of all these robots, capable of doing most damage, or is it trying to get through there, the shell of King B3? This is a tactic which we knew they were going to employ. Or something's come off. Now, where has that come off? One of the competing robots, a house robot? Don't ask me! I haven't got a clue what's going on! As I said before, this is mayhem. Rules? What rules? Redbot! Dismiss him, sack him, he has no control over these robots. There's Dead Metal. In with a thrust on 101. Exterminator. Backing away to have another attack, but in comes 101 and almost underneath Exterminator there. 101 using the spike. Don't forget that spike travels at nearly 200 miles an hour. Invertebrate hasn't been that lively since the opening exchanges, and I wonder if the damage was done by King B3 in the initial onslaught we talked about. This is Exterminator, the most lively of the red team, certainly. Bashing on there to King B3, taking a piggyback ride, 101 around the back. Exterminator tries to get back to safety. They look on. Yeah, Invertebrate's been immobilized. I think that's Dead Metal, the house robot, in for the kill. So they're effectively down to one robot. 101 and King B3, and there seemed to be a deal of infighting in the pits beforehand, slamming against each other. With friends like that, who needs enemies? Exterminator away. Thanks, boys, we can't see anything now. Oh, there's little Amy. At least we can see over Amy's head. Exterminator trying to avoid trouble because it's getting absolutely no help whatsoever from Invertebrate and Peter Pinkle, who once visited Hereford. Poor qualification for a tag team member. Exterminator, I think you made a poor choice with Invertebrate. Don't tell Peter unless warned. I told you so. So, it's Exterminator. Oh, there's King B3 now, under pressure from Sergeant Bash. They need to get out of trouble, and 101 has a little dig again at its team member. Their battles have been part of Robot Wars folklore. But they have two robots still fighting and fresh. And Exterminator is the lone survivor from their team. No question in my mind who won that one.
The rules go out the window again. I don't know if the judges will care about that, but we've got to go to the judges.
Exterminator was certainly aggressive, causing damage to 101. Superficial, I think, but King B3 and 101 were always alive. The problem with the other team, there, Invertebrate, immobilized, playing no further part. That's why it has to be an easy decision for the judges, for me. But then I don't count. They're the clever ones. I can just about get to A, B, C, D. King B3 and 101. An easy number for me, that, actually. Both of them survived, and surely it's an easy decision.
Well, the judges have made their announcement, and with Invertebrate immobilized, Exterminator didn't really stand a chance. The judges have gone for King B3 and 101!
From the red zone again, Invertebrate on the left, Exterminator on the right-hand side. And the five boys all together. And there in the blue zone, Blunderbird 4 on the right, Bigger Brother on the left. Bigger Brother team, little Joe Watts, he's 7.5. What's he going to be like when he's 16?
Activate.
Immediately out of the red zone comes Exterminator. Invertebrate had the problems beforehand, and out of the blue zone comes Bigger Brother. Blunderbird 4 sitting back. Oh, and immediately Exterminator flipping Bigger Brother, but look at the streamer, the self-righting mechanism, up and over they come. It's little Joe at the controls there. His hero is Roger the Dodger from the Beano comic, and he's dodged that one magnificently. Meanwhile, Blunderbird 4, well, we've had the hype, we've had the rat, but their team, to me, seems to be taking a nap. It's not exactly mobile. We had the problems with it before. We've seen nothing from Invertebrate there. It now comes out to help out Exterminator on its side. And using the side spikes to right itself. A magnificent technique. Great innovation from Marlon Pritchard, Paul Lewis and Simon Baldwin in that Exterminator team. It's a great battle between Exterminator and Bigger Brother. And now Exterminator goes back. The tag is effective. Out comes Invertebrate now getting into the action. So they were repaired. They are okay. Invertebrate with the pneumatic flipper, the probing, rotating bludgeoner as well. And it's Invertebrate against Bigger Brother. Bigger Brother with a shot on the drive onto the arena side wall. Terrific playoff here for the wooden ratchet. The wooden spoon of Robot Wars, in other words. This is Bigger Brother on Invertebrate. You can see the bludgeoner there at one end. You can see the flipper at the other end of Invertebrate. But this, for me, is the battle of this playoff between Bigger Brother there on the right and X-Terminator. Oh, over on its side again. Can they right from there? Watch this, watch this. Yes, they can. Out comes the spike. Second time we've seen it in this playoff. That really is innovative. I don't think we've ever seen a robot in Robot Wars history with side spikes being used as an effective stream-mech. So well done to them. X-Terminator in underneath Bigger Brother. Now, have they pinned them down? Have they got some sort of toehold? Let's have a look. Trying to crane my neck around to see. Down comes Bigger Brother. So, live to fight another day. Backing away. Dodging, X-Terminator, shadow dancing, if you like, shadow boxing. There's little Joe at the controls of Bigger Brother. Still, we've seen so little of Plunderbird 4. They're a great sporting team, actually, Mike Onslow and Brian Kilburn. But that's the other boys, X-Terminator and Invertebrate in their control box. Little Joe peers out. There's his dad to the left-hand side. And Bigger Brother, once again, X-Terminator have managed to just prize a grip. But Bigger Brother away once more. Oh, and look, the pit started to descend. Will it catch anyone here? Exterminator drives on against Bigger Brother. Back to the centre, they're in the pit, in the pit, in the pit. That's the message. They want someone to go down. Exterminator, will it be Plunderbird 4, largely immobilised throughout? I can't believe it. Exterminator have driven straight into the pit. Right on the word cease, under pressure from Bigger Brother, and down they went. Who has won this one? Well, Bigger Brother did all the work. Invertebrate, they were virtually immobilised, and Exterminator went in the pit. Surely there could only be one result.
Well, Bigger Brother 2 and Plunderbird 4 scraped some dignity off the arena floor and come third in our tag team terror. Let's hear it for Bigger Brother and Plunderbird 4.
From Bramford, Ipswich, Chaos 2.
The pneumatic flipper powered by a fire extinguisher can throw virtually anything, but what happens if the CO2 runs out? A chaos theory, chaos fact, they're unbeaten with this robot.
Hi, we're Chaos 2 team. This is Richard and Ian, and I'm George. And if you know anything at all about Robot Wars, you already know who we are.
From Belmont, in Hereford, X-Terminator.
This Silver Dream machine has an axe, a Stream-X uprighting mechanism, aluminium shell, 25 miles an hour top speeds, but we've noticed steering problems for the heavyweight of this tussle.
Hi, I'm Marlon Pritchard, this is Simon Baldwin, and Paul Lewis has gone AWOL. This is our robot Exterminator with the improved axe this year that's going to knock holes in just about everything we meet.
And for the first time in this series, we've placed in the war zone Shunt, to worry for opponents, the phenomenal pushing power, and Matilda, and a worry for us and you and everyone, she has no self-control whatsoever.
Roboteers, stand by.
Rarely chaotic. George Francis at the controls of Chaos 2 and Marlon Pritchard with Exterminator.
2, 1. Activate.
Style of Chaos 2 to go straight onto the attack, and it's done so again! Slamming into Exterminator, that is 99 kilos of robot! Chaos 2 has just tossed simply into the air. Look at this! Bang! Slam! Exterminator can right itself, thankfully, using the side prods there, and also the axe weaponry. Chaos 2, another little flip, using the fire extinguisher-powered CO2 flipper, which seems to me to be in some trouble now. Can they close that flipper down? George Francis frantically trying. I don't think he can. I think it's stuck. An Exterminator has sensed something is wrong here with the all-powerful Chaos 2. And the axe weapon of Exterminator has got a hold on Chaos 2. And George Francis basically here, well, basically, as Robot Wars Tactics will tell you, is running away. That's what he's doing. George Francis, he comes back on the attack, but he knows he's got to stay out of trouble.
I think the weapon... No, it's not. It's not in position. Now is it, I wonder. It's come down, but the Exterminator boys know they've got a real chance here. Chaos 2 flipping Exterminator over again in fine style, so the weapon's okay now. It did jam. Is it jammed again? The crowd know where they want Exterminator to go. This is Shunt with the bulldozer. I wonder if Exterminator here is immobilized. Shunt pushing this giant of a robot across the war zone floor. The ref bot having a check. Exterminator, what a bright start, and Chaos 2 was wobbling, it was on the ropes, but I think Exterminator is counted out. What a shame. Matilda can come and have some fun, and Shunt as well. Well, it doesn't matter that it's self-righted now because it has been counted out by the ref bot. The contest is over. Chaos 2, just to add insult to injury, has flipped Exterminator into the flywheel of Matilda. Look at this. And look at the pieces literally being ripped away from the frame of Exterminator there. Torn apart. The aluminium shell of Exterminator. They know they're a beaten team. He was worried, George Francis, let me tell you.
Exterminator immobilised, given the red card by Refbot. Exterminator, exterminated. Chaos 2 go through!
From Thornhill, Panic Attack.
0 ground clearance, 0 turning circle, lifting forks, champions of the Second Wars, twice semi-finalists, polycarbonate and bulletproof fiberglass shell. Why the need to panic? No need at all.
From Belmont, X-Terminator.
At 99 kilos, just the heavier, low centre of gravity, strong base and axe, but sometimes I think it's too quick for its own good at 25 miles an hour. But what power! There's Panic Attack from Wales. The experienced Kim Davis at the controls with his son Michael and Christian Bridge, both 12 years of age, and Exterminator, Marlon Pritchard, the team captain, an instrument engineer. And there next to him, Paul Lewis and Simon Baldwin. Panic Attack, winners of the Second Wars, immediately under pressure from Exterminator, or were they? They flipped Exterminator over. Exterminator can self-right. Kim Davis, piqued by the attacks on his reputation. They beat Exterminator in Series 3 and indeed in the Sumo. Exterminator didn't like it, hence the vengeance match here. And Panic Attack have pressed the release button so that the pit of oblivion will soon descend. And from the look of it, Exterminator will be in that pit of oblivion, trying to claw their way back into a vibrant battle here, and just about doing so. The axe helping out. Deathbot has a look. Panic Attack gets the forklift underneath Exterminator. Exterminator backing away. Meanwhile, Panic Attack shoved onto dead metal. The Killalot in that top corner. Panic Attack dodging away from Exterminator. Whoa, very close to the pit. Doesn't want to get too close in there. Raising Exterminator up with the great prongs, turning Exterminator around. 2 lorry windscreen wiper motors help power Panic Attack onto the attack, nudging Exterminator towards the pit. But will they go in themselves? No! Hanging on, dumping Exterminator. Good technique, good driving skills by Kim Davis once again. This time in Robot Wars Extreme.
From Belmont in Hereford, X-Terminator.
Rated, a seriously powerful blade on wheels with extra weight this series, 99 kilos, partly down to that 37 kilo axe and base additions, top speeds of 18 miles an hour.
From Eatington in Gloucester, PANZER.
The rubber tracks have steel inserts. This will need steely courage to survive. A high-speed 4,000 RPM disc cutter, though, can cause mayhem.
From Milton Keynes, Cataclysmic Variant Bot.
2 wheels, 2 casters, will they be strong enough? 2 wheelchair motors, 2 hopes according to its opponents, Bob Hope and No Hope.
Roboteers, stand by.
So, PANZER WRAITH. Look at that spinning disc, modified at the back, and there's big X-Terminator as well. In the control pod, together there, Marlon Pritchard, the driver of X-Terminator, young Michael Davis in the Panic Attack with him, and Andrew Jones driving PANZER WRAITH. And Cataclysmic Variabot. Chris Brockwell at the controls, John Barker and Lisa Blake between the two. And how many times have we seen Shunt powering and pushing? Or Dead Metal, clawing, ripping, destroying? So they've got the house robots to avoid, they've got themselves also bashing and crashing in that arena. Only one survives to go through to the Annihilator. X-Terminator at this moment in time is pressing Cataclysmic Variabot in towards the house robots. There's the rubber tracks of PANZER WRAITH. A little bit like Sekilot, actually, with the steel inserts. You could just see them gleaming. X-Terminator backs away. An attack at top speeds of 18 miles an hour, a little bit slower, but look at the damage already caused to Cataclysmic Variabot there. Can you see the metal is just ripped on the top corner as the Cataclysmic Variabot spins again, and this time does nudge X-Terminator. And look at the tank-like PANZER WRAITH clambering up piggyback style on top. Rubber track with a large idler at the front to allow the petrol disc cutter to be completely enclosed. There you can see the disc cutter, but won't do any damage like that. X-Terminator, that was a good attack, but Shunt comes out. There you can see on the back of Shunt the diamond-tipped axe. There's the Panzer again, bashing with X-Terminator. What is the Variabot doing at this moment in time? Standing idle or standing immobile? That's the big question. I think they've gone. Maybe it was the damage I was telling you about earlier on. Look at that! That's the axe of X-Terminator straight down through the tracks. A PANZER WRAITH, that is the danger, the risk of having a tracked robot. And just getting away. As X-Terminator withdrew the axe. They're okay, it seems to me. But we know that the Variabot is being counted out by Redbot there. And the crowd count along. 8, 9. They've been counted out. Cataclysmic Variabot. X-Terminator slams against the pit release button. How many of those tracks are working on PANZER WRAITH, 1 or 2? If only one track is working, then X-Terminator has this battle. I think that's the case. I think PANZER WRAITH has stopped, and I think X-Terminator now will nudge and push. There's no traction left there. They've gone. X-Terminator have won the mayhem, and they're through to the Annihilator. And in convincing style as well, I would say. Marlon Pritchard, helped out by Michael Davis. That's the end of the Variabot. Look at this. Way! Oh dear! It's coming smashing off as well. That's smashing entertainment for us. X-Terminator wants a little bit more, and also Shunt with the axe. Look at this. Bang! Already holes made and more, and they're going in the pit as well. It's too late now for PANZER WRAITH. Tracks to be turning. It's too late. All over for you. Very well done, X-Terminator.
From High Wycombe in Buckinghamshire, Arnold Terminator.
The Terminator team in the middle there, Ian English and his family. A box on wheels with the glowing red menacing eyes, an axe hammer weapon, the lifter, axe to Sremek. Arnold A is back.
From Costassy, Norwich, Norfolk, Thermidor 2.
On the right, David Harding and driver Ian Harvey. The most impressive performer in Extreme so far. The pneumatic CO2 flipper is devastating powerful. The claws will drag opponents on. And with 95 kilos slamming into you at 50 miles an hour, the Thermidor's cooking.
From Gloucester, Pussycat.
David Gribble driving on the left-hand side, his dad Alan behind him and Robert Bettington. The cat's litter, anything chewed up by the patented Pussycat blade, agile as a cat, 14 miles an hour top speeds, a grand finalist in the last series of Robot Wars.
From Thorpe Marriott, Norwich, Splinter.
The Splinter Boys, far right, Stewart and Craig Wakeman. A semi-finalist in Series 4 looking for revenge against Hypnodisc, fast at 15 miles an hour, a pneumatic axe weapon and grabbing arm.
From Belmont in Hereford, X-Terminator.
The X-Men, Marlon Pritchard and Paul Lewis on the left there. A Series 4 semi-finalist, the quickest here at 18 miles an hour. The axe alone weighs 37 kilos. It has a stream-mech, the whole thing driven by a 24-volt motor.
From Middleton Cheney, Banbury in Oxfordshire, Hypnodisc.
The Hypnodisc Rose family in the middle. Big, nasty disc, twice as much power than the last series. It's slightly heavier than before. It hits you at 75 miles an hour, effectively. The shell's aluminium and mild steel. And the house robot thrown into mix and match. Shunt with the bulldozer scoop and the diamond-edged axe, powerful, resolute. And Matilda, pugnacious, pug ugly, pig-headed.
Roboteers, stand by.
3.
Thermidor and certainly Hypnodisc would be the favourites for this, but look for Pussycat as well, immediately on the attack on Arnold A. Also Splinter underneath Arnold A. There's Hypnodisc backing away, crunching on X-Terminator. There's X-Terminator with a big blade being pushed around there by Thermidor. Arnold A again under pressure from Pussycat. Pussycat spins away to have a go this time at Splinter. Splinter in on the frame as well. Hypnodisc backs away. This is Thermidor. Hypnodisc thrown up on the top of X-Terminator there, and Hypnodisc taking pressure from Pussycat. They're all off the Hypnodisc. Early on, there's Arnold A with the axe coming down on Hypnodisc. It's Bash-a-Disc. That's the game here. Look at this. They're all off the Hypnodisc. There it flies up first of all, comes down, there's the axe going in on Arnold A. Pussycat involved as well, Thermidor trying to get the grips, Hypnodisc right in the middle, Thermidor's being pushed away into the CPZ, that's a good drive there by Splinter. Our Thermidor immobilised, they need to get going very, very quick, but you want to wait to the top of your screen there, Arnold A coming in now on X-Terminator. This is a very good display by Arnold A, X-Terminator on the top of Hypnodisc too. Hypnodisc, have they been immobilised? Brutalised by the sheer force of enmity by the rest of the arena. Hypnodisc is going nowhere at this moment in time. Being pursued by X-Terminator and Splinter. Very good display by the Splinter team here. Crashing and bashing, taking on X-Terminator. Hypnodisc and the Rose Boys drive away, but Thermidor is being broiled. Well, that is a major surprise for me, and Hypnodisc cannot get any space there to have a run and get the, the blade into action. Poor old Thermidor never got going at all. And for me, the surprise of the show so far, here's Splinter, bottom of your screen, and there, Arnold A. They've been brilliant. That was one of my favourites. What's happened to my lobster? Oh, dear. The world's your lobster? It ain't. You're just a prawn in our game, I'm afraid. And Hypnodisc has done little better. Another attack on Hypnodisc by X-Terminator. The ref box indicate Thermidor off. I think they're as surprised as I am. And there's our first faller in this Annihilator. And the others survive, but only just, and they know it.
Roboteers, stand by.
3.
Here they go again then. Immediately you've got X-Terminator there, bottom of your pitch. Oh, Hypnodisc has got away. They've learned to stay out of trouble perhaps after that first bruising dust-up. And Pussycat's in a little bit of trouble. Exterminator tries a side-on collision with Hypnodisc. This is Pussycat and Splinter. We've seen very little of the cat. They're currently rated one of the best 2 robots in the country. They're keeping out of this a little bit. And Splinter Boys again in the thick of things. Here's Arnold A2, bringing the axe down. In devastating style, Pussycat slams on the splinters. Bulldoze, bucket, scoop, and bounces away. Exterminator, again, trying to rock and roll against Hypnodisc. That's Splinter, taking on Pussycat and charging him into the corner. And Arnold A, doing Batman Pussycat, thrust into the corner this time by Splinter, and then comes Bash. Look at this, it's a good drive by Splinter. Pushing Pussycat into that corner. Pussycat's blade was turning, but no damage was being caused, and Bash is in there, and they're all trying to have a go now. But Pussycat, and someone has released the arena pit button. It started to descend, and someone's going to go down there any moment now. The Splinter Boys have once again been very, very impressive. Hypnodisc this time has stayed out of trouble, and everyone seems to have wanted to go at Pussycat, but now, again, Hypnodisc is under pressure from Arnold A. Gets away, side slam on X-Terminator.
Little damage again caused to Hypnodisc. Oh, look at that from Arnold, eh? The great, powerful axe. And Hypnodisc thinking, well, I better get into the thrust of the action here, just in case it goes to a judge's decision, because I haven't done a lot, and X-Terminator's axe was extended and took a long, long time to come back down. I thought they might have been in trouble there. Okay, Pussycat in the middle there as well. Splinter has been magnificent in this Annihilator so far, and Arnold, and Hypnodisc now has been plucked by Sergeant Bash, and the claws. The disc hasn't rotated at all, Hypnodisc. Twice as powerful as in the last series, they told us. But here in Extreme, it has just not got going. In came X-Terminator with a little nudge on Bash as well, and then the axe down on Hypnodisc. And the Rose boys, Derek and Dave, who's the driver of the machine, simply have not got moving. That's Pussycat being slammed onto the arena sidewall by Splinter. There's Arnold A with the glaring eyes, and Hypnodisc trying to get away again from trouble. Arnold A slamming into the sidewall and trying to axe our angle grinders. Unwise. Plenty of movement out there again. Pussycat trying to get in behind Splinter, and Splinter's pal, it seems to me, Arnold A is seeking retribution. The Splinter team have been very consistent with Stuart Wakeman and his son Craig, the driver. Pussycat just to swing over the top of the picture. Again, all the pressure on Hypnodisc. Can they respond there once again in the middle here? And under enormous pressure, as is Pussycat. It really is take on the favourites, isn't it? And let's all have a disco. That's what they want out there, X-Terminator and Splinter. And X-Terminator has got a claw onto the disc itself. It may have punctured the disc and therefore be able to lift it up in a way. They certainly seem to have impaled their axe there. X-Terminator on the top of Hypnodisc. Now they're free and can get away. This goes to a judge's. I think Hypnodisc will be in real trouble. Mind you, are X-Terminator moving? Are X-Terminator moving? Are they immobilised now? Is there a problem here for the X-Terminator team? There are problems for Exterminating as the red bot. They're being counted out here, Exterminator. After so much promise, Marlon Pritchard is being counted out. That's a disappointment. And the second of our robots has fallen in the Annihilator. It's Exterminator this time. They've gone. Which means, of course, kill a lot, and the others can have their fun. Oh, extra punishment for Exterminator, no! Slightly in the wrong place for the floor flipper, but they're flipping well out.
From Belmont, X-Terminator.
Seriously powerful axe on wheels with extra weight this series at 37 kilos. Semi-finalists in the Fourth Wars. The 1 centimetre ground clearance could be its downfall. So many flippers about.
From Ossett, Immortalis.
A metre wide, 3-sided pneumatic shovel, concrete slicing saw and high-impact spikes provide the weaponry. Has devilish eyes and angry temper, but immortal, is that a vain boast?
Roboteers, stand by.
Immortalis. At the controls, Colin Scott. His son Jordan is there, age 9, and Steve Keating as well on the weapons. Exterminator. Marlon Pritchard is the robot driver, and alongside him, Simon Baldwin. Sergeant Bash in the arena with the pincers, the long-range flamethrower, and to create carnage, Shunt.
3, 2, 1. Debate.
Exterminator has experience in battle, though Colin Scott, the driver of Immortalis, had previously entered Robot Wars with Death Warmed Up and Piece de Resistance. His Immortalis creation this time, though, under pressure from Exterminator, but hanging on, and Exterminator almost turned over there. As they dragged together, Exterminator flopped forward, and 100 kilos is pressing down on Immortalis, and in comes the red bot to separate them. Good decision. Hey, hang on, Exterminator, you're not fighting the ref bot. You may be angry at his decision, but you don't take on the ref bot. Yellow card. Oh, ref bot. Yellow card, Exterminator, surely. Have a word. What's happening with Immortalis, meanwhile? In the arena there, in the CPZ. And under pressure from Sergeant Bash. What a curious fight this is. Immortalis has never really seemed to be under control. Exterminator
A frightening temper took on the ref box. Sergeant Bash is in there as well. There is X-Terminator. Immortalis. Oh! And up goes the Bumblebee bot. It's the only thing I can think it resembles out there. Immortalis, the ghastly innards exposed to all, including Sergeant Bash and Shunt. They need no second invitation. The ghastly grimace on the face of Immortalis shows a screaming pain and agony. And the devilish eyes will blink no more as the referee keeps a close watch. The ref bot counts you out. Immortal you were not. And Immortalis have crashed out of Robot Wars, and X-Terminator, hardly an X-rated display of mechanical mayhem and machination, but nonetheless they go through. The pit of oblivion descends. The crowd cry furiously for the burial of Immortalis. R.I.P. rust in pieces.
Roboteers, stand by.
X-Terminator with all the previous experience of a semi-finals. Marlon Pritchard there at the controls. Against the newcomers, Corkscrew. Lovely story this, though, isn't it? With little Lawrence and Lewis saving up their money by washing cars to provide cash for John Heatley to build the robot. Sir Killalot's in the arena. Oh, please don't crush the hopes of those two wee lads from Scotland. Oh, go on then. Shunt. Also in there to push perhaps X-Terminator into the pit, who knows?
3, 2, 1, activate.
X-Terminator has the extra little weight, and also with the seriously powerful axe. Oh, has a capability there. Well, to grab hold of the corkscrew handle, wobbly. Lightweight the handle, it's not going to overbalance that heavy lorry wheel base for Corkscrew, which has its own spinning blades, but I don't think they're working, are they? At the controls for this heat semi-final, John Heatley taking over from Lewis, who was the controls for the victory over 13 Black earlier. Corkscrew with a little thrust, X-Terminator dodging away, both on the side walls. Corkscrew quickly moving at up to 20 miles an hour. It's slightly the faster of the two. Oh, and onward. Thrust almost into oblivion. Was that suicidal, John Heatley there? But again, they bravely come back and X-Terminator. A brave-hearted display by the Corkscrew team. Marlon Pritchard looks on, an instrument engineer by trade, loves his golf, his computers and his X-Terminator machine. Corkscrew backing away, X-Terminator still on the arena wall. The axe is working, Corkscrew being axed by Shunt. X-Terminator axing nothing in particular, and the judges will have noticed that. Corkscrew still in there fighting. What an unlikely machine, to be honest, to have reached thus far, let alone with a chance of reaching the heat final. I think they've got a great chance. X-Terminator axed by Shunt. Drops to the arena floor with a crash. He's smiling. But it could be a death smile of robot rigor mortis, because X-Terminator in real peril, not from the flame pit, but from the judges, I think.
Both robots mobile. We're going to have to go to the judges. While they're making up their minds, let's review the highlights.
Well, we knew about X-Terminator's axe. Points scored. And again. And really the Corkscrew blade wasn't efficient at all. But they had the doggedness and the determination. Damage caused to Corkscrew, certainly. But in the end, X-Terminator were caught by Shunt. Which way will the judges go here?
Oh, it's a bit tense here. The judges have made their decision. They're supposed to be looking at style, control, damage, and aggression. Sometimes I don't know what they're looking at. The judges have gone for Corkscrew!
Scorpion.
Fought in Series 4, now back with an extra sting in the tail. His name is Sean.
Talk me through what you've got here. What's your weapon?
Well, our real weapon is our disc that spins at 7,000 RPM.
Right, 7,000 revs per minute for people who don't know, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and what have you got on the front?
And on the front, we've got some rams which have spikes on the top.
Bright, colourful, strong armour, destructive spinning disc and front rams is invertible, but it's not too responsive when flipped.
From Tiverton in Devon, Robo Chicken.
Oh, Redbot, cry foul! Surely a poultry challenge from this?
See, I don't know if you've heard in the news, just, you know, the last few months about battery chickens not having to have such small cages. Well, this is what happens. Look. Look at that beak. That's awful. Look at the madness that is Robo Chicken. Now, can you do serious damage with this thing?
Deadly serious. This is world domination you're looking at here. This is top of the food chain from now on.
Entering Robot Wars for the third time, never beyond the heats. Will they rule the roost with a pecking head and powerful flipper, or will this chook be plucked, stuffed, and roasted?
From Horsham in West Sussex, Barbaric Response.
Now will the Barber family provide a close shave for one or two?
Tell me about your flipper.
It's powerful, and we could make the chicken fly.
You can make the chicken fly. That's what we want to hear, and that's what we want to see.
Too true. Has a 10-bar body flipper and punch ram, lots of pushing power, 20-mile-an-hour speeds, quickest in the heat. But isn't that aerial too vulnerable?
From Belmont in Hereford, X-Terminator.
We've seen it before, but this time, really watch out for the axe.
Apparently this is the X Factor that everyone's been looking for. This is what they're up against, X-Terminator. What's it got?
Well, seriously powerful axe, scoop mechanism on the front, self-righting, no problem.
Yeah, now I'm going to talk to the technical member of the team. What's it got?
Well, as Marlon failed to mention there, this special axe is a dilithium-coated tipped axe. Go through anything.
A four-wheel drive scuff steer robot, fast, powerful experience from 3 previous series, but it doesn't like being flipped onto its lid, and it has been exterminated too easily before.
Roboteers, stand by.
In the control pods, there on the left, Robo Chicken, Captain Jason Snow, and on the right, Barbaric Response, Captain Zach Barber. Exterminator on the left, Marlon Pritchard, the team captain, Spirit of Scorpion, led by Jeff Smith. And in the arena for the house robots, the deadly Dead Metal, with the crushing claws, the serrated saw, and alongside Sir Killalot. Look at those great pincers and the deadly lance.
3, 2, 1.
Real blend here of experience and newcomers. There's Robo Chicken with the boggly eyes, getting straight into the thick of things. Spirit of Scorpion almost upended. Barbaric Response with the front ram there doing battle and pushed onto the arena side wall. Back in comes Robo Chicken. The pit release button there you see flashing has been released. So down goes the pit. They'll have to avoid that. Barbaric Response now, the meat in the chicken, so to speak. Frantic, feverish controls. Barbaric Response onto a side angle grind. It needs to get away from there. We can see an axe flying down. We can see the Redbot getting a little bit too close for comfort. There's the flipper on Robo Chicken. Seems to be doing better this time around, Robo Chicken. Has never really had any great success. Knocked out of the heats of Series 5 by Crustacean, I seem to remember. Barbaric Response, top of your picture with their Spirit of Scorpion in trouble into what we call a CPZ, the corner patrol zone. Go in there, and your meat and drink for the house robots. Circular Lock trundling away. Dead Metal comes out of the CPZ, just getting away as Spirit of Scorpion. Very, very tight this. Should they all be mobile at the end of the allotted time, then the referee will call on the judges to make a decision on style control, damage and aggression. And I wonder now if these machines are playing for a judge's decision, just a little bit tentative. We're not seeing a great deal of aggressive work out there
and certainly no damage. There's a new feature in this series of Robot Wars, the spinner on the floor of the arena. Did you see it there? You'll see it again. Plenty more features in the arena this time around. Dead Metal Swarmers coming into play on Robo Chicken, which is up on his side and has lost an eye. Oh, what a gruesome sight. Oh. Well, it's certainly a battery chicken no longer there, it seems, because it seems to have run out of power. Or am I speaking too soon? We'll have to wait and see. There's the might of X-Terminator, 100 kilos of push. Spirit of Scorpion, they're immobilized. Barbaric Response just trying to get some lift there under the serrated edge of the Spirit. Meanwhile, Robo Chicken is still alive and clucking. I'm not too sure. X-Terminator had a little bit of a nudge. Was I a little bit too early in writing out Robo Chicken? Did I count my eggs before they were hatched? No! I've been told they are officially immobilized and out. Oh, Barbaric Response in the pit! I think they'll be okay, though. I think they'll go through with X-Terminator. It'll have to go to a judge's final word. But for me, Robo Chicken and Spirit of Scorpion will be the two to go out in this melee. Don't dump him in the pit. No. Can we get a message to Sekilot? I want more punishment for Robo Chicken. That's it. Drag him out. Now, we have a new feature in the 6th series of Robot Wars. It's called the Drop Zone. Place him there. X marks the spot. Well done, Sekilot. Obeying instructions. And the crowd will now count down. And that's what's going to happen. A washing machine on your head, son. What we've come for. Magnificent. You can be sure that what comes out in the wash in Robot Wars will not be clean and tidy. Don't air your dirty laundry in Robot Wars. We'll get you. But I think Robo Chicken is still alive. Unbelievable.
Roboteers, stand by.
Let's have a look at the X-Terminator boys in the pod. Marlon Pritchard will drive on the left, Simon Baldwin's at the weapons. And as for the Megahertz 2 team, Dave Lund is the driver, Tony Lund is at the control of the weapons, and Gordon Keeling supports. There in the arena once again is Mr. Psycho. And Growler. Fearsome.
3, 2, 1.
This for a place in the heat final, and Refbot this time stay out of the way. X-Terminator straight in on the attack, 100 kilos up to 18 miles an hour, spinning to come again at Megahertz. Low ground clearance for Megahertz. You can see there the side sort of flanges that prevent X-Terminator or other opponents getting in underneath. But they've still managed to shove Megahertz 2 into the flame pit. And part of Megahertz 2, the console already has been ripped away and flung across the arena floor. But did you see Megahertz there getting the flipper in underneath X-Terminator? And they're not too bothered about that superficial damage. Top of the picture, Mr. Psycho looks on. Into the CPs, here goes Megahertz, and in comes Growler. Very quick across the arena there. Very fast, he uses a skid steer system, very maneuverable. And down crunches the Growler jaws, hydraulically powered and crushing with a pressure of 4 tons on Megahertz 2. Megahertz 2 is now at the mercy of Growler, and thus far it has shown little signs of mercy. X-Terminator then on top so far, trying to get the scoop in underneath Megahertz to tee it up with a pneumatic axe to come thrusting down. If Megahertz 2 has a hope here, I think they have to flip X-Terminator. We know it doesn't like flipping its lid, X-Terminator. And that's exactly what they're trying on the arena sidewalk. Now can Megahertz 2 lift X-Terminators 100 kilos up and out of the arena? I don't think so. What are they doing? Did Megahertz 2 try and take on Mr. Psycho? What with those little axes? You have got to be joking. The pit release button activated. Are they mad, Megahertz 2? But who's on top here? X-Terminator, to me, has suddenly been bashed and smashed and hopes crushed. Or has it? It's backed away. Megahertz 2 is, we know,
had that superficial damage. This is very close, you know, for the right to meet Firestorm 4 in the heat final. Now, will Mr. Psycho's entrance be decisive? Bash! Oh, I think so. Down came that huge club, 30 kilos in weight, travelling at 60 miles an hour, and still Megahertz 2 survived. That's the power of these robots in this series. You want to design one, you've got to come up with something to match this best of the very best. Mr. Psycho looks on, down comes the grabbing arm. Poor old Megahertz 2 has done very little wrong.
Close to call. We're going to have to go to the judges. They're looking at style, control, damage and aggression. While they make their minds up, let's review some hot robot action.
Hot, it was at boiling point. Exterminator came in underneath Megahertz and thrust it into the flame pit. Point score for Exterminator for style, control and aggression. More damage caused to Megahertz there. Was it only superficial? Growler took control of Megahertz, losing points all the while, but then it came back into it to flip up Exterminator almost out of the arena. Point score for Megahertz. Until the very end. Oh, will that be the decisive action? The judges will have to decide.
And the judges have made their decision. You know the criteria. Damage control, style, aggression. They've gone for Exterminator!
Roboteers, stand by.
Hazel, you're on the telly. Everyone's watching. There with Graham and the Firestorm machine. And Exterminator, Marlon Pritchard, Simon Baldwin there at the controls. Marlon looks very confident, pumping up the crowd. In the arena for the house robots. Shunt with the bulldozer blade, and the frightening axe, and Matilda with the flywheel and those formidable tusks. Terrifying. Ooh.
3, 2, 1, activate.
Winner of this goes through to the series semi-finals. Firestorm been there before, finished third in the last series, twice a grand finalist. All a little bit edgy. Pit release button activated early by Exterminator. Perhaps they feel they have to get in an early thrust or two. The longer it goes, so Firestorm would be favoured. Firestorm trying to get the flipper in underneath. Exterminator having the problems with the axe, making it work, making it powerful and penetrating. They've relied on the bulldozer scoop at the front of their essentially wedge-shaped machine as well. It's a bulkier wedge. Exterminator and Firestorm both weighing in at 100 kilos. Firestorm in underneath. Goodness me, that was close. And Simon Baldwin knew it. Now, Exterminator is tumbled and rumbled. And look at this, the power and pace of the attack by Firestorm in underneath. Great timing of the flipper. Exterminator rolled to the arena side wall. Well, he looks so cool, doesn't he, Graham Bowman? That was masterful driving. Because without the axe working, I don't think Exterminator can self-right. The ref bot can't remove them from the side wall because they're not impaled accidentally there. They were driven on by an opponent. They've got 30 seconds to self-right, otherwise they're out. And Firestorm will be through. Oh, Firestorm, get away from Shunt. That wasn't too clever, Graham, but oh, was it? Look at that, they're taking on Shunt. Up comes the flipper of Firestorm. A hydraulic flipper. Not only are they trying to beat Exterminator, they're trying to thrust Shunt out of the arena, I think, and that's no mean feat. Shunt overturned. The crowd love it when the house robots are flipped and tipped and beaten and bullied, and we remember it. But we'll have our day. We will have our day. Firestorm, the house robots team. Well, we presume Exterminator are going to be counted out any second now because that's what you can see on the ref bot. And Shunt is trying to gain some measure of revenge, but Firestorm for the third seed, massively impressive. Exterminator counted out. Firestorm 4 through to the series semi-finals. Well done.
From Leicester, in Leicestershire, something.
Hardly a clean machine. Good, it'll need to fight dirty here.
From Maidstone in Kent, Smidsy.
Vulnerable to axes in the past.
Smidsy, you've done quite a bit of work to this robot, haven't you?
We've changed the side armour a bit, changed the front a bit.
So they've worked on it?
Yes.
Have you worked on it?
We have actually, unprecedentedly, like completely stripped it down to every single nut and bolt.
Yeah.
Put it all back together again using mainly grease and whale blubber.
And then it didn't work?
No, and it's not broke down in testing once.
Smidsy, four-wheel driven, tough, has multi-purpose front jaws with razor-sharp blades. Something has circular blades or an axe is a low-tech fighting machine.
From Belmont in Hereford, X-Terminator.
Once a UK Championship semi-finalist.
Mini Morg.
No great pedigree there.
Right, trying to get the story of why these two teams got together as one tag team is almost impossible. We've got lots of different versions. You met where?
Junction 7 of the M5.
Yeah, and then you decided to become a team because of...
Well, they can drink as much as we can.
And the real answer?
Proper weaponry.
We were the last ones under the table together.
Mini Morg has a simple rollover design with CO2 flipper and spinning disc. X-Terminator, four-wheel driven, a scuff steer robot with an axe weapon and self-riding mechanism.
Roboteers, stand by.
Let's have a look at the teams. Something there on the left, the captain, Mr. Dig, and Smidsy, captained by Mick Reed. And the Mini Morg and X-Terminator team to do captains on the right, Dorian Cordy and Marlon Pritchard. In the arena for the house robots, we have Shunt and Dead Metal 2.
3, 2, 1.
So, the basic rules, if you're in trouble, you can get tagged by your teammate. You have to go back into the area to get tagged. Rules? Ha! What rules? Smidsy in there with X-Terminator early on. Smidsy on the attack, pushed back by X-Terminator. Down came the great pneumatic axe. And already you can see something getting in on the action there. Immediately they get out in support of Mick Reed, Smidsy. Something in there with X-Terminator. We haven't seen Mini Morg yet. X-Terminator danced away. There's Mini Morg waiting to see if it can get tagged. Top of your picture. Now can come into the action. Out flies the yellow peril that is the barrel-chested Mini Morg. Back into the action comes Smidsy in underneath Mini Morg. It has a 1.5 centimetre ground clearance, Mini Morg. That is dangerous. Smidsy trying to get there. Its weapon, the rear disc, 12 kilos of weapon there, 200-mile-an-hour carbide tooth, spinning rear disc. Into play, down comes the axe of X-Terminator. Shouldn't really have gone into the action there because Mini Morg was the chosen robot out into the arena. But as I said, you can forget Queensbury rules here. They do not apply. And X-Terminator has the Mini Morg up on its front. Listen, they're all out there now, I think. Something being chased around. There's Smidsy again on the Mini Morg. How can you keep up with this? All into a devil's brew of ill-disciplined, demonic, destructive power of Roboteers. Smidsy has pressed the spinning disc alarm. There you can see it just over the shoulder of Mr. Dig spinning away. The house robots will enter the fray if anyone goes into a CPZ, a quarter patrol zone, or if they see anything amiss, if they see too many robots into the fray. And Dead Metal is trying to slice into the axe mechanism of X-Terminator, slamming down there with a pickaxe onto the top of Smidsy. If one robot in a tag team is immobilised, dumped out, thrown out, pitted or whatever, the other machine can fight on. A lone vigil. And they need to come up with 2 knockout blows because a judge's decision would automatically give it to the team with 2 robots left. And you know, that could happen here because I think something is about to be counted out. We're also running very, very close to time. Will it be counted out before cease is called? That's the big question. I think they're out. And cease they called. It means something and Smidsy are out, are gone. He doesn't know yet.
X-Terminator and Mini Morg. They get through. The Welsh have done it.
Roboteers, stand by.
In the arena for the house robots, we have Growler. Oh, look at the jaws. And after the applause, Dead Metal.
3, 2, 1.
First up then in the tag team terror semi-finals, X-Terminator and Hydra out there. For me, Hydra and Barbaric Response has been the best team so far. An X-Terminator and the CPZ that belongs to Dead Metal, and the Sparks can fly. They managed to self-right well, but down into the CPZ, and Dead Metal were very quick to come in. X-Terminator tried to get the axe going, but that was denied, and they were in trouble. That was a good early push from Hydra, and X-Terminator wants to get out of there and let Mini Morg take over. The Mini Morg boys from Swansea, Dorian and Mark. They're the little weapon, the spinning blade at the back and the front bulldozer, but they're not going very far. Barbaric Response, quick onto the attack, can get up to 20 miles an hour. Flipping Mini Morg, that's okay. It's a rollover design machine. Can self-right very easily. Back in comes X-Terminator. Quick to tag then, the Welsh boys. They pin themselves to the arena floor. Helped out by Mini Morg. Tut, 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 tut. Barbaric Response still out there. X-Terminator slammed onto the arena sidewall. Barbaric Response went into the CPZ, and again, the circular saw can slice through from Dead Metal. Barbaric Response away. Has the front blade, Barbaric Response. It also has a vulnerable aerial, I think, on top there. No one has attacked that so far. Why? Out comes Hydra onto the side of X-Terminator. Mini Morg pressed in there, and Hydra's taking on the both of them. And is coming out on top, I'd say. Mini Morg slammed. In comes X-Terminator on the tail of Hydra, but Hydra's split Mini Morg once again. Roly-poly, pudding and pie. Kiss Hydra and say goodbye. Because Hydra's back on the attack. Mini Morg crashes into a CPZ, and that is the kennel for that machine. Mean, moody, magnificent. It's Growler, biting it on the tyres. X-Terminator, again driven by Hydra. Hydra, to me, looks a very good machine. There's fought in a couple of domestic UK series. X-Terminator, very experienced. Presses the pit release. Was once a UK Championship semi-finalist, X-Terminator, but I think the Welsh boys here are in trouble. Mini Morg's going to get counted out. That's for certain. Something's gone wrong in the 750-watt motors. X-Terminator just about mobile, but for me, Hydra and Barbaric Response well on top. Out goes Mini Morg. They're finished. And now the others can come in for the kill on X-Terminator. This is Hydra again on the chase. That's what's left of Mini Morg. Smoke flying as the saw blade came in. X-Terminator left to fight alone. And cease is about to be called, but for me, it has to go to the two remaining machines, Hydra and Barbaric Response, as Mini Morg is finally pitted. Cease.
In Herefordshire, and number 11 seed, X-Terminator.
Number 11 seeds entering a 5th Robot Wars campaign.
Here we are with X-Terminator. The lads are obviously finding it very bright in here.
There's these lights from the cameras.
Lights from the cameras, their eyes are hurting. Right, you've been in here since the 4th Wars, I believe.
Yeah.
So what have you done to your machine that's going to get you through the 7th?
The biggest change this year is we had an axe last year, which wasn't performing very well, so we've changed to a big flywheel on the front.
What are your tactics once you get in the arena, being sort of veterans at this Robot Wars thing?
Tactics? We don't actually have any tactics. Just muller everything.
Excellent stuff. 4-wheel drive, 4-wheel steer, vertical spinning disc or axe mechanism, extremely destructive. Doesn't like flippers with its 1 centimetre ground clearance, and it's slow too.
From Laber in Germany to Sarni.
Will the German runners-up hit British Robot Wars like a tidal wave?
Now, where have you two come from?
We are from Germany, Bavaria, near Munich, Regensburg.
Brilliant. So the robots travelled quite a distance to get to the 7th Wars.
A long journey.
It's been a long journey. Is it going to handle it in the arena?
Yeah, really. We are ready to rumble.
Wedge-shaped 36-volt, 1500-watt capacity, self-righting titanium armouring, a full-pressure flipper, but it has limited CO2 on board.
Minster on the Isle of Sheppey, Major Tom 3.
Back for a fourth attempt at the UK crown, has never escaped the heats though.
He has been around for quite a few wars.
Yeah, he's been through 4 series now.
Have you made any modifications to make him better?
Yeah, much stronger motors to be giving a lot more pushing, and the ramp on the front, which is totally different compared to the bumper car that we used before. So we're hoping this will do a lot better.
You're not going to keep his head stuck on the back like that, are you?
We're not sure how long he's going to last.
Has a double clamping spike, is strong, electric powered, able to run both ways up with its famous Union Jack coloured body. Very low gearing, good for pushing, very slow at 4 miles an hour.
From Minster on the Isle of Sheppey, Diabolus.
A new robot, but the team has fought before with Kryptonite in previous wars.
This is the first time in the wars for this robot.
It is, yeah.
But, so what have you got on this robot that's going to get you through?
2 18-inch cutters, spin roughly about 1,000 RPM. Quite dangerous, very sharp.
It looks pretty scary. What is your main thing you're worried about out there?
The lack of armour. That's the only problem. If we get hit on the top with an axe, it could be game over.
2 aggressive spinning discs protected by aluminium checker plate, can run both sides if flipped, but has weak side body armour, and the speed of the robot can make it hard to control.
Roboteers, stand by.
Let's have a look at the 2 teams then. Diabolus on the left, captained by Graham Hewish. Major Tom, captained by Henry Ryan on the right-hand side. X-Terminator there on the left. Marlon and Simon and Tsunami on the right. Eric and Jochen. In the arena for the house robot, Sergeant Bash and Shunt as well.
3, 2, 1.
2 robots survived this battle to go through to the second round. Major Tom's lost his head straight away. Diabolus was flipped too. Diabolus is okay. It can run both ways up, but it's lost its disc. Carnage already in the war zone, and Major Tom out! Gone! Hit by the tidal wave, the tsunami, and they went. Diabolus in all sorts of problems. Look, the roof has caved in on Diabolus' world, and Tsunami gets another flip in. It's all over.
Cease.
2 out, 2 through. Look at this, Major Tom lost the brains of the operation straight away. Diabolus was flipped and in trouble from the impressive Tsunami. In came X-Terminator on Major Tom. Turning and twisting. Then Diabolus was gutted, to be honest. Look at that. Power of X-Terminator. That was the end of Diabolus. No way back. Had lost its cutting edge. Major Tom went out. There it went. Watch for the power of Tsunami. Very impressive, the German entry. And then Diabolus was no more. The work done by X-Terminator, the finishing job by Tsunami. Look at the power here of the German flipper. How high that went. Out with the rubbish.
Roboteers, stand by.
Forceful too in the arena, it's a kill a lot. And also dead metal.
2, 1.
Off we go. This for a place in the heat final. X-Terminator slow to get off and underway. Killer Carrots, flipper wedged on. Sir Killalot looks closely. Exterminator doing all the pushing and pressing. 98 kilos, slightly the lighter of the 2, would you believe? The slower of the 2. Killer Carrot 2 moving away. Exterminator in peril from Sir Killalot and is sluggish here at the start of this second round battle until that moment when the blade simply ripped into Killer Carrot, maybe missing a couple of defensive plates according to Rob, and suffering as a consequence. The power there of Exterminator's spinning disc. You remember from previous wars, it had a huge axe, but it was not as effective as that spinning disc. And again on the onslaught, the whole fight has changed. In the past, it has taken very good machines to stop Exterminator, like Firestorm 4 and Wild Thing and Panic Attack and Pussycat way, way back in the history of Robot Wars. But this, to me, is a much better machine as it
rips into Killer Carrot 2 once again. Looks big and bulky and strong, and you can clearly see it has immense destructive power. Killer Carrot 2 is finished here. Exterminator causing more damage, slicing through. We said right at the start of the program that Killer Carrot 2 had vulnerable wheels, pitiful armament. Oh dear. Sliced and diced Carrot. Oh, but moving helped a little bit along the way. And the Engelbright boys still have a little bit of hope, perhaps. Oh, look at the glare in the eyes. Exterminator poised, looking, seeking the prey, chasing. Killer Carrot trying to get in behind Secure. Maybe not the best move. Pressing. Are they going to press the pick release? They are. Are they yet confident then they can push Exterminator down into that pit? Maybe it's the only tactic left to them. Doesn't matter, they're out. The final blow. Significant. Killer Carrot 2 lifted up in the air. Look at this. Exterminator coming in. Bash from the blade. And out they went.
Roboteers, stand by.
In the arena for the house robots, Sir Killalot and Growler.
3, 2, 1.
Boy, I'm looking forward to this. Tsunami as Exterminator again gets off to a slow start. Tsunami by far the quicker machine. 30 mile an hour top speeds. Exterminator 9 miles an hour. Waiting to see if they can get the blade in, and they do. That's where they're slow to get away. Waiting for the spinning blade to get up to full speed before they can attack Jochen Wittmann's machine. Tsunami backing away, trying to expose the ground clearance of Exterminator. Only 1 centimetre ground clearance, but it was good enough. Jochen at the weapons, use the weapons diligently, and can Exterminator self-right? Huge split. Up goes 98 kilos of robot, skittering across the arena floor. In comes Tsunami with a slam. If they can get a flip in there, Exterminator could be out of the arena, out of the war zone, out of Robot Wars, the 7th Wars. They are teetering on the brink of oblivion, the number 11 seeds. Can the German entry go in and finish them off here? Exterminator really in great danger. Upended, almost over. Just hanging on by a thread. Can they come down and self-right? Tsunami will have another go. Again they crash down, and ironically that has righted Exterminator. And now you begin to wonder about the supply of CO2 on board Tsunami. I said right at the start of the program it was limited. Can they continue flipping, or will Exterminator now turn this battle on its head? What life is left in that Tsunami weaponry? Did they go too early? Have they used up all the CO2? Is there a flip left? Side by side? I don't think there is. They're backing away. So what can they do now? Draw Exterminator onto an angle grinder? The pit! They're rocking here, Tsunami. They're righting. Enough CO2 left in for that. Perhaps they kept it back to self-right. Look. There you see. The Sreemec, absolutely essential in Robot Wars. For a wedge-shaped flipper like this, they're over. Exterminator closing in. And another bash. Another self-right. But I don't think that's a full pressure flipper any longer. And I think Exterminator are now on top. And now beginning to carve damage onto what has been a very good machine. On its side, Tsunami. And smoking. And breaking up. What a shame. What a good machine Exterminator is, though. Number 11 seeds. And hugely improved. I saw there just a flicker of flame. Sparks flying. The blade spinning. The weaponry potent. That has been their problem in the past.
a durable machine, has lacked that killing instinct. It now has it with the blade, and X-Terminator could be a force in Robot Wars: The Seventh Wars. Tsunami out, it's over. A brilliant effort comes to an end. X-Terminator, heat winners. Ecstasy and joy for Simon Baldwin and Marlon Pritchard. And disappointment for Eric Ehrensberger and Jochen Wittmann as their machine came to a grisly end. The fall was a mighty one.
Roboteers, stand by.
The St. Agro team, Terry and Benjamin Carlin, who's 12, and Michael Gambon, and X-Terminator Marlon Pritchard and Simon Baldwin. And in the arena for the House Robot, Shunt once more. And Matilda, with the tusks and the flywheel, and the attitude problem.
3,
the bad breath.
2, 1, activate.
And the mother, well, we don't talk about her. St. Agro, quickly across the arena floor. X-Terminator awaits. Is the spinning blade of X-Terminator working? The ref cam looking on. It's spinning so fast, it's a blur, the X-Terminator blade, I think. Straight into the side of St. Agro. And St. Agro already tattered here. There's a chunk out of one of the wheels, look. Oh! Flayed! There's the chunk from the wheel. They won't be able to run truly across the arena floor. They're limping towards the pit release. They can't even activate that properly. X-Terminator gave them help. We are now down to the stage where the fittest and meanest survives and the weakest are marmalised. Oh dear. Can hardly look on Terry Carlin. He's the builder and the fixer of the team. And the taxi service too, he says. To and from the workshop, and also the Robot Hospital. Because that, I'm afraid, is where St. Agro is heading. Refbot has a look. The inevitable is nigh. And X-Terminator looks mighty and powerful and durable. Persistent. And Matilda, of course, always likes to come in and pulverise the weak. Whoa! Look at that, missing out of that wheel. You're not talking foam rubber out there. That was real metal munching. Down comes Shunt's axe. St. Agro venting steam. In the CPZ. Ooh, they grimace. And they stare. And they ponder how much damage they can cause. X-Terminator, Marlon Pritchard, the driver, Simon Baldwin, tactical expert, a suspension technician by trade. Marlon is an instrument engineer. And Terry and the team look on in dismay. It'll hobble its way, assisted by Matilda, onto the floor flipper. And St. Agro's last memories of this, the Robot Wars: The Seventh Wars semi-final, will be a thrust through the air. And down they came with the greatest of ease. And Matilda in there once again. I like the look of X-Terminator. We've seen some very good machines so far in the semi-final. Gravity and Tornado. And now X-Terminator.
Roboteers, stand by.
In the arena for the House Robots, Cassius Crone. It's a killer lot too.
3, 2, 1, activate.
Bulldog breed, slightly the heavier by a couple of kilos, slightly the faster by 1 mile an hour. Exterminator's blade, though, certainly the more damaging. Already rendering metal there. Bending and buckling. And shredding and tearing. And Bulldog breed upended, flipped over, can self-right using the flipper, and once again hopping away. Oh, but they know. Look at the faces. Look at the faces. They know. Tony Summerfield desperately trying to drive Bulldog breed away from the trouble zone. An X-Terminator after them, and Sir Killalot, that hardly helps. X-Terminator's blade back up to full speed, only checked when it comes into contact with Bulldog breed's armour.
into the CPZ. How can Bulldog Breed turn this fight around? It is difficult to see here a way out for them because they can't flip, can they? They can't get in underneath X-Terminator because their front is buckled up. X-Terminator pushes into the clutches of Sakillalot in that CPZ. Oh, Sakillalot almost tried to lance on X-Terminator, but clutches Bulldog Breed. Plucks it up. The ref bot looking on. X-Terminator moves away, knowing, I think, theirs is a place in the grand final. Moments away, surely now, for the team from Herefordshire, X-Terminator. In again on Bulldog Breed. Well, they've done terrifically well to get this far. But they will get no further unless there is a major turnaround. I mean, we have seen robots at this stage, this dominant, drive themselves into the pit, get too close to an arena side wall, and then a flipper has tossed them out. That's happened in the past in Robot Wars, but not this time. Not this time. Bulldog Breed. For a minute there, I thought your kennel awaited. Down and away out of that arena. Sakillalot comes in. Never misses a chance. Well, give a dog a bone. You know the story. X-Terminator again. And a bit of metal is ripped away from Bulldog Breed. Sakillalot crumples. X-Terminator thrashes. Tony Summerfield and Robert Summerfield look on. They can barely watch. Oh. There's a tattered noise to it all. The tyre exposed. Oh. They're beaten. Is he saying stop it? Is he saying refbot come in? So much work goes into these machines. They've gone so far. And one step away from the grand final. Bulldog Breed has been put back on its lead, and it will go back to the kennels. A whimpering, not barking.
Roboteers, stand by.
Let's have a look at the teams then. Marlon Pritchard and Simon Baldwin and X-Terminator. And the Edinburgh boys, Corporal Gary Cairns on the left, Sergeant Graham Horn in the middle, and Flying Officer Peter J. Bennett with them. And the fan club. So who's on duty? Well, for us, Dead Metal is. And Sergeant Bash with the Army to get the RAF into line. Now let's see if X-Terminator can chase them down. I didn't think so before they could get up to spinning speed. X-Terminator, I think, has missed its chance. I think they've missed their chance. Typhoon 2, too quick across the arena floor, and look at the spinning now. Listen to the whirring. Can you hear it? It's frightening. It's like the noise that the doodlebug bombs used to make in the war. And it comes in and smacks into X-Terminator, and that's good strength. The outer armour of X-Terminator withstanding the first blow. Chips of metal fly away across the arena floor. I like the look of Typhoon 2, but X-Terminator digging in, trying to cut down the angle, and now running away to hit the pit release. What's happened to the disc? Exterminator's disc is not working. One of the Typhoon 2 attacks must have crunched the electronics. The disc isn't working. I think actually the drive chain has come away. Exterminator now impotent. Typhoon senses they can come in for the kill. Exterminator in trouble. Oh, buckled. Look at that. And ripped. You can hear the ripping of metal. I'm sure from where you sit. And look at the Exterminator boys. Brilliant so far, Marlon and Simon, about to head out, unless Typhoon does something stupid and spins into the pit, very nearly bouncing off into the pit. They're going to have to watch out there. Captain of the team, Flying Officer Peter Bennett, looks at his controls. Typhoon 2 bounces away. They're trying to stay out of trouble. Sergeant Bash gives them a flicker flame. Exterminator's still in this fight. Very much so. Oh, it's Typhoon 2 smashing the smithereens, part of the arena. Cease. And Exterminator as well. I think they've had to call a cease because, yes, the arena wall was damaged. Jane's going round to have a look. I've never seen damage like this before. Exterminator hopes bashed. Our arena smashed.
Is it quite dangerous, Matt?
It's not quite dangerous, it's extremely dangerous.
Are you in
It's
danger sitting here?
Well, no, we've got 2 layers. It only went through 1 layer. That layer it went through, they're both the same thickness. But remember, we've got the whole of the cage, the box, which has got the other layer, plus all the supports of it. I wouldn't be sitting here otherwise. I have to say, with all the robots we've had, this is potentially the most dangerous.
Okay, what's going to happen now? The arena has been repaired. The judges are going to allow Typhoon 2 to get up to the spinning speed that it was at before the arena was crushed. The teams are okay.
3, 2, 1.
And we're off and underway for the remaining time of this grand final battle. Oh, and as soon as we've started again, I think we'll have stopped again. Because for me, X-Terminator has just been beaten. One more smash from Typhoon 2 seemed to have done it. The house robot's checking. Is there a visible decrease in the spinning speed of Typhoon 2? Oh, there will be now, because Marlon has accepted defeat. Well, terrific competitors fighting in their 5th wars. They've never been this far before. Great improvements. Worthy opposition, but beaten. And now, of course, oh, that's nice, down in the pit, save it any more severe damage. It's had enough, hasn't it? If not the championship decider itself. That place goes to Typhoon.
Roboteers, stand by.
In the arena for the house robots, Matilda making her first appearance in this grand final. And Sir Killalot.
3, 2, 1. Activate.
This for 3rd place then. Tornado quickly on the attack. Can get up to 10 mile an hour top speeds. Not great, but it's the fact it'll push all day long that makes it such a strong competitor. And I don't think X-Terminator was ever going to be fully ready for this playoff. They came into the arena, they talked the talk, they couldn't walk the walk, could they? In trouble straight away. That spinning disc isn't working. And I think they, or is it? Yes, it is now, look. Just beginning to crank up through the speed, the spinning disc. Biting into Tornado, scratching the front scoop, bashing away. Not fully operational, not at its best as an X-Terminator. Oh, and turned over, I think by a combination of a Tornado pushing one direction and Matilda's fly wheel spinning tail in the other direction. But they're okay, or are they? Look at Tornado. Poor old X-Terminator taking some damage again. They've got hydraulic spikes out of the side, by the way, if you're wondering what those cones are all about. Not greatly impressive, but the spinning wheel has been throughout this championship. Oh, and I think that's a bit of Sir Killalot that's come off. They've taken a bit of Sir Killalot's armament off. Well, that's a trophy. They want to take home. Tornado on the attack, though, relentless as ever. And another slam from Tornado. X-Terminator. How are the batteries in this playoff? Tornado still chugging away. The pit descends. Tornado. Not first place in the 7th wars. 3rd, some consolation. As a little bit of a nut or a bolt goes running across the arena floor. Pushed into the CPZ. With a pit release tyre. Tornado wants a little bit of that as well. Matilda's thinking about coming in. Oh, there's something shiny on the wheels of Tornado. Is that hydraulic fluid? Is that oil out there? They can't get any traction. They can't get out of the CPZ. But X-Terminator won't be able to draw them into any more peril because they're about to be counted out. Out they go. X-Terminator finished 4th. Tornado 3rd. And Matilda can wreak havoc.
Cease.